think it's Monday, goes out on Tuesday morning. But we don't put a guard out there. We don't care if somebody takes it. We just hope it disappears by the next one. In fact, if somebody else would take it, then we wouldn't get the bill on every month. So, you know, we don't worry about, you know, when you put stuff out on the curb and you say free, a lot of times they'll stay there because they're not valuable to anybody. Nobody wants them even if they're free. You put a $5 tag on it, it'll probably be stolen. But we don't guard those things that we don't care about. We don't guard things that aren't valuable. Not so with our heart. It is the essence of who we are. We are our true self. It is where all our dreams, all our desires, and all our passions live. It is that part of us that connects us with God and with other people. We also guard our heart because our heart is the source of everything that we do. King Solomon says, everything you do flows from it. In other words, our heart is the source of everything else in our life. From, you know, as we look around us, we've been under some flood watches and flood warnings the last few days, last week basically, and because of the rain and the snow melt, we've seen water flowing, right? We've seen water flowing where it's not supposed to be flowing. But there's water all over. Because, you know, that's a good thing. Eventually it's all going to flow down the river, and what we want is the river to continue to flow on downstream, right? So that all the plants and vegetations further downstream get what they need, and it's refurbished and it continues. We don't want the river to dry up. We don't want somebody to block it so that downstream there isn't any water flow going to them. Our watershed in the Zumbro River watershed is an important thing. We want it to continue to do what it's supposed to do. When we stop that, we can make it destroyed. We can destroy the watershed. If we poison the water, the flow becomes toxic. In either situation, it can affect the life downstream. Our local watershed depends on the river doing what comes naturally to it. Likewise, if our heart is unhealthy, it has an impact on everything else. It threatens our family, it threatens our friends, our ministries, our careers, our legacy. Guarding our heart needs to be a high priority. We have a treasure to guard, and that is our heart. Number 2, we must prioritize that task. Once we have identified the biblical mandate that we're to recognize the treasure of our heart, we must make guarding it a priority. If I ask you to identify the top Christian things that you're supposed to do if you're a Christian, what are some of those things? What are the things that you say, when I say, what are things, if you're going to practice your Christian faith, what are those most important things you should do? Read the Bible. Pray. Love one another. Witness and share the faith. Anything else? Serve others. Okay. Anything else? Well, those are pretty good. Those are all. But nobody said guard your heart. Okay, you said go to church. But we don't think of that as the top thing, do we? We don't think of guarding our heart. We think of doing all these other things, which are things that we do, that we're outwardly doing. Praying, reading the Bible, taking all that in. I mean, that fills our heart. But we aren't guarding it. We're not thinking about those things. Those answers are correct, and they play a major role. But we find that instruction to guard our heart familiar because we teach more on denying and praying and doing all those things. Sometimes we forget about guarding our heart. Sometimes it seems like it might be selfish to do that. God says we have to do that. It is not an ungodly idea. It is what God calls us to do. For example, you know, you want people to guard their marriages, right? If a man says he is leaving his wife and deserting his children because God wants me to be happy, God would never promise such a thing. God doesn't promise us to be happy. He does promise joy, he promises peace, and he promises that he'll always love us. Guarding our heart is not selfish or irresponsible. We must guard our heart so that we can truly be all that God has created us to be. For example, in a marriage, when you get married, how many of us are going to marry somebody that says, he comes up to the altar and the pastor says, you know, do you promise to love Pat and all that kind of stuff? He says, well, yeah, I promise to love her, but I also will love this one, this one, this one. Hopefully not. Not legally. But think about that. You know, that's what it is when we're saying we love God. We have all these other things. We aren't making Him a priority. We're not guarding our heart. Our heart is divided. And none of us want to be in a relationship with somebody that has a heart divided. God is calling us not to divide our hearts, but to give it all to Him. Guard it carefully. To give it over to Him all the way. He wants the whole thing. He says to love us with all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our strength. That sounds pretty total. He wants everything. He wants us to love Him with all that we have. Not just the leftovers on Sunday morning. The unbalanced emphasis on certain aspects of our faith, unfortunately, do contribute to that. Sometimes we get off balance when we don't speak and teach and remind each other that we need to guard our hearts, guard our love for God, keep the priority of God in the first place. The third factor that's prevented believers from making matters of the heart a priority is that limiting our heart to purity. Striving for moral purity is an admirable and necessary part of following Christ. A Reader's Digest article offered an amusing analysis of some dieting trends affecting our culture. The Japanese eat little fat and suffer fewer heart attacks than Americans and the British. The French eat a lot of fat and suffer fewer heart attacks than the U.S. or the British. The Italians drink a lot of wine and have a lower risk of heart problems than their Western neighbors. So what can you conclude from all those facts? You can eat whatever you want, but speaking English. Guarding our heart is more about feeding my soul than it is about avoiding sin. When our heart is strong, we are able to resist the temptations that cause many believers to stumble. The book of Proverbs identifies things to avoid, but it also contains numerous instructions to pursue wisdom, grace, discipline, and life. The more good stuff we put in, the more of God's Word we read and store in our hearts, the less we'll struggle with our conscience. The less we'll struggle with sin in our lives. One comedian we went to a long time ago said, if we do all the things that God's Word says to do, and we do them all the time, we won't have time to do all the bad things He says not to do. Because if we're busy doing the things that are good, and putting those things in us, the bad stuff doesn't get in. We applaud too often adults, and that's all of us, not just parents, and parents are probably the top on this one. But too often adults are applauding our young people for the things they're not doing. We're so thankful that at least they're not in drugs. At least they're not doing this. At least they're not drinking. At least they're not drinking and driving. At least they're not, I don't know. At least they're not doing whatever. And we forget to applaud them and to encourage them when we see them serving. When they go out of their way to help somebody down the road. When they go out of the way to help their parents. Or when they go out of their way, they're serving here at church. I mean, we have some young people in the nursery and on PowerPoint. We have young people that teach. We forget to applaud them for the things that they do. We're so concentrated on those things that they don't do that we forget that they need encouragement to do the right thing. And not just young people. I mean, all of us need that encouragement to be reminded that when we're serving and being kind to others, that that's the right thing to do. And the more we do those things, we can encourage each other. When a young person says that they plan to save themselves for marriage, we don't want to cut them down and laugh at them. We want to applaud them and encourage them. We don't want to belittle their decision and just, right, not impossible. But we want them, when they tell us they want to do these things, we want to encourage them. We need to be their cheering section, not the doubter on the sideline. Number 4, we must minimize the trash. Trash, as we said before, is worthless. Nobody wants the garbage. It's the stuff that we leave on the curb, and we don't care what happens to it. Guarding our heart includes seeking God, but we can't ignore the instruction to minimize the trash from our lives. The verses that follow the command to guard our hearts describe putting away perverse speech, looking straight ahead, and choosing good paths. These verses are similar to the New Testament challenge found in Hebrews 12:1 and 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Now, keep in mind, that first word was, what's the first word on that verse? Therefore. Therefore. You always want to know what the therefore is there for. Anybody know what the chapter before chapter 12 is? It's called the faith chapter. And chapter 11 is all about the heroes of the faith. And it talks about Moses and Abraham and just all of them. And then on the end it says, and there's many more we cannot list. And it goes on to talk about them not receiving the hope in the future. But that's what that therefore is there for. It says, therefore, since these guys are up there in heaven, they're in the stands and they're cheering you on. Run the race that's before you. Get rid of all those things that are pulling you down. Get rid of those sins that are dragging you down. Get rid of those thoughts and that anger and the unforgiveness. Get rid of the gossip. Get rid of the swearing. Get rid of those things that you know you're not supposed to be doing. Let them go along the way. This passage reveals the need to remove things from our life that disrupt and pull down our race of faith. We need to be aware of the trap of legalism that unfortunately we can go too far the other way and have this big list of don'ts, and that we forget that God looks, that He's perfecting us for faith. And not to just do that, but we do it because we're following God. We do it because we want to be pleasing to Him. The ultimate goal of faith isn't removing sin, it's for us to go forward and to win the race in faith. Some trash is easy to identify. Just look at the 10 Commandments. They're all there. There are 10 of them right there, and they're easy to remember. Most of us have heard them over in our lives. Any moral corruption, perverse behavior, evil act that harms somebody stands in bold opposition to God's will for your life. Other trash is more difficult to discern and remove. A lack of faith, unwillingness to forgive, gossip, materialism, pride, being too busy, addictions, false belief systems can stop the flow of the wellsprings of life, just like the easy sins to identify. Trash, big or small, is still trash. We should embrace the challenge that the Apostle Paul gave Timothy. And he wrote to this young pastor, and he said, run from anything that stimulates youthful lust. Instead, pursue righteous living, faithfulness, love, peace. Enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with pure hearts. Again, I say, don't get involved in foolish and ignorant arguments that only start fights. A servant of the Lord must not quarrel, but must be kind to everyone, be able to teach and be patient with difficult people. So he told Timothy, when those temptations start getting to you, he didn't say to fight them, and he didn't say to confront them. What did he tell them to do? Run. Get out of there. Don't put yourself in the places and circumstances that'll drag you down. Get away from them. But then he gave them a long list of things to do. To put on righteousness. He told them to put on right living, faithfulness, love, and peace. That's what we're to fill. If we fill our lives with those, we don't need to chase those other things. That's how we protect and guard our hearts. Lastly, we energize with truth. Note the instruction. Pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. This charge is to give careful attention to divine truth, followed by the promise of life and health. We need truth. Jesus said the truth would set us free. Solomon exhorts his son to listen and hold that instruction close to his heart. We live in a world that is often opposed to truth. Our culture promotes tolerance over truth, but the wise king reminds that there is a difference between right and wrong, between good and bad, between righteousness and evil. Level paths that have a solid foundation lead to success, but evil and unstable choices lead to destruction. We must also appreciate the difference between facts and truth. It is not enough just to know the facts about faith. Facts provide information, but truth produces transformation. Through application and keeping the truth in your heart, we advance the journey of faith instead of swerving off course. Most people who identify themselves as Christians know the facts of their faith. They know about death. They know about Jesus' crucifixion. They know about his death and his burial and his resurrection. They know the facts. They know about prayer. They They know about witnessing. But very few pray to know the Lord and the power of the resurrection in their life, to live out Christ's life. Too many believers treat knowing Christ as a simple fact instead of a transforming truth. Consider the difference between the we're going to talk about the definitions of a kiss. A clinical definition is the pressing of two mandibles together, resulting in the exchange of saliva. Wow, that's romantic, isn't it? So that's the clinical one. Now listen to the definition of a kiss in a song. We're not doing it.
I don't want another heartbreak. I don't need another turn to cry. No, I don't want to learn the hard way. Baby, hello, oh no, goodbye. But you got me like a rocket, shooting straight across the sky. It's the way you love me. It's a feeling like this. It's centrifugal motion. It's perpetual bliss. It's that pivotal moment. It's impossible. This kiss, unstoppable. This kiss.
The chorus says, it's the way you love me. It's a feeling like this. It's centrifugal motion. It's perpetual bliss. It's that pivotal moment. It's impossible. This kiss, unstoppable. This kiss. Which one really generates feeling? Two mandibles pressed together, exchanging saliva, or the other? It goes from fact to truth. One is a medical fact. The other one is a transformation. Experiencing and putting it into practice. That's the difference between knowing about faith and really much. It's having those feelings, those passions, and having God in your life that He just energizes that transforming truth of God's love in His Word. Never treat the Scripture as a collection of facts. Pay attention and listen closely, because God's Word is alive. It is sharper than a two-edged sword and a hammer that shatters a rock to pieces. God's Word is alive and His Word lives in our hearts. We have to pay attention. We need to guard our hearts closely. Guarding your heart is critical to experience all that God desires for your life. When we recognize the treasure, prioritize the task, minimize the trash, and energize the truth, we place ourselves in a position to receive the very blessings of God. Nuclear submarines consist of some of the most amazing technology on the planet. These incredible military vessels can stay underwater for 90 days. But every 90 days, the submarine must resurface so that it can maintain a proper alignment with the North Star. While underwater, the submarine's navigational system is affected by the Earth's magnetic forces. Because these submarines carry missiles of mass destruction, they must pay attention to keeping the navigational equipment aligned to the true reference point of the North Star. What is the North Star? The nuclear sub provides an excellent picture of our hearts. Just as a submarine may have enough physical provisions like food and water and fuel to survive, it cannot perform at its highest level or complete its mission without maintaining proper alignment with the true reference point. Our heart can be physically healthy, but to keep it on target, keep it headed toward the source of our very life, we have to stay aligned. By guarding our hearts, we stay locked on to God's will. We will have life. We will have healing. We will have our heart will be determine the course of our life. Our hearts will guide us to all that God has created us. So today, every day, let's begin by guarding our hearts, putting in all those things that God wants us to do and protecting, so that we can live out. Dear Father, we thank you. Thank you that you want to live in our hearts, that you created us with this desire to know know you, to know faith, to know your love. And Lord, you have placed within us a transforming truth, and you want to transform us. You have plans for us. You've given us passions and visions and direction. Lord, help us to hear your voice. Help us to guard those parts of you that you told us to guard. Help us to put them into motion, to just lift them up every single day. Help us to have transforming energy in our lives that will make a difference, not just in our lives, but in the lives of people in our community and the world around us. Thank you, God. In your name we pray. As we close, if you want to stand with us as we sing our last song.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary,